Speak, friend.
You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Morgan, how old is your daughter?
She'll be 27 in August.
And your son?
He's 30.
What's your daughter's name?
Kira?
Chase.
Okay, so Kara and Chase were in a relationship, and Chase was arrested.
He was.
For what?
It was a breaking and entering, destruction of property.
When was he arrested?
This was in June.
Of what year?
I'm not really sure because Kira wasn't living with me at the time.
She was living with me. They were together. She was there when that arrest took place.
For
They
what?
were
living with you?
Yes,
they
breaking
were.
and entering,
Month and year.
destruction That of I can't property. tell you.
When was he arrested?
There were
This
was in June.
Of what
that
year?
took place at that time. Kara didn't have a place to go, so I offered her my home.
I'm not really sure because
When?
Kira...
She had been there approximately 2 or 3 months at that point, I believe.
Before your son was arrested?
That's correct, yeah.
So she was living with you.
She was.
He was arrested, and somebody called you for money for a lawyer for him?
That is correct.
Who called you?
Miss Rebecca Wojak.
That is absolutely not.
Shh, shh, shh.
I'm sorry.
How did you know her?
I didn't know her. Kara had been asking me that Rebecca needed money because she needed to pay a lawyer and she also needed to bond him out.
Just a second. So you're having discussions with your daughter, Kara.
Yes.
Kara said, my boyfriend needs money.
No, she said, Rebecca needs to borrow some money.
Nah. That doesn't sound kosher to me. That doesn't even sound reasonable to me. Your daughter, who was 26, didn't say, my boyfriend's mommy needs money for a lawyer to bail him out of jail. She would say, my boyfriend got arrested and we have to bail him out of jail. Rebecca doesn't have money. Maybe she said that to you. Didn't say Rebecca has to borrow money. No way. You want to start again with me, Miss Morgan?
I was told that Rebecca needed to borrow some money to bail Chase out of jail.
Yes.
And I told my daughter I would not put anything on my charge card without speaking to Rebecca. And so Rebecca called me.
And?
And she asked to borrow the money to pay a lawyer for her son.
Tell me about the conversation.
Okay, Rebecca called me on the phone and we talked about how her son and my daughter had had different issues and entanglements with the law and how unhappy we were about that. But unfortunately, it was what it was. And she needed to borrow some money, $1,300, to pay her lawyer for Chase.
And?
And the next day, we all went down to the courthouse.
Who's all?
Me, my daughter, Rebecca, and Oates.
Who was that?
He was someone who had to co-sign for Rebecca.
With whom? With the bail bondsman?
Yes.
How much was the bail?
May I speak?
Just answer my question.
I couldn't tell you how much that bail was. I have no idea.
Who is Mr. Oates?
It was a friend of her daughter's. I did not know this person.
Oh, so you didn't know him?
No, I did not know him. Now, he did come to my home. As I explained to him, I was completely against this. My son had very serious issues.
Just a second. Did he alone sign for the bail? That's very easy. Get the record and look at it.
I believe he did. I would not sign for it.
Just a second. So the answer is you did not sign for it.
I did not sign for that.
What did you go down there for?
You know,
No, not you know. If you weren't going to sign for his bail.
I offered because these charges were 2 years old
What?
to give this much money to my
Listen
son.
I'm asking you a question. Stop trying to
you know,
figure where I'm going. I say to you, what was your reason for going down to the jail with Miss Morgan? You weren't going to help him. You weren't going to pay for anything. So what'd you go for?
Of course, I wanted to help my son, but that's not the way to help him. But my son had been in prison before for narcotics.
What did you go down to the jail?
I love my son. I love him.
What did you go down to the jail for is my question.
You know, I had money to give Kara. I said, this is how much I will give towards my son. This is it. You can call his father.
No, just a second. You had money for what?
You know, there were so many incidences, and I don't mean to sound...
Just a second. This is not so long ago. How much money did you go down there with on July 2nd?
Your Honor, not to be disrespectful, but I have been traumatized and paralyzed with police busting through my home on so many occasions.
Did you go down there with $200? Did you go down there with $1,000? Did you go down there with $5,000?
No, it was over $1,000. It was over $1,000. And I had money, and I said, this is what I will contribute.
So that this is what you will contribute towards his bail or to his bail and lawyer?
It didn't matter where it went. This is what I was going to put in.
This is what you were putting into the pot.
And I didn't feel comfortable. And I made it clear to Mr. Oates.
Just a second. So we went from I'm not helping him out at all to I'm prepared to put this much into the money pot. And there was a certain amount that you had, but right now you don't remember what that amount was.
I honestly cannot tell you
the answer is either yes or no.
If those charges had not been from 2 years before, I absolutely would not have. And I did still feel comfortable because
no, just listen to me. I don't really have time for dramatics.
Right.
If I were taller, I would be a runway model. I'm not. If I were younger, I might want to add to my family.
Right.
I'm not. So I don't care if it was this, if it could have been that. All I asked you was, how much money, now that we've agreed that you did in fact bring money to the jail
I did, yes.
on July 2nd, I'm asking you whether you brought $500 or $1,000. You said it was at least $1,000, but you said this is all I'm prepared to contribute.
That's correct.
Those were your words.
That's correct.
Well, then those words suggest that someone else was supposed to contribute.
That's
that
correct.
Means somebody else is going to... So my
Her
question
daughter
to
wanted
you
my
is,
son out and was relentless about it and would not stop. And I said, you can call his dad, you can do whatever you want.
I didn't hear what you said.
Her daughter was relentless. I didn't realize.
Relentless with regard to what?
Getting my son out. She would not stop. And I'm a little bit of a soft person where I shouldn't be sometimes, okay? I wouldn't speak to my son, who kept calling because I knew if I talked to him, he would break me down. Because I do love him, okay? And it's a very, very difficult situation to be in as a mother. What I realized, and I said to Kara, I said, you know what? What's going on here is my son you're his voice. You're talking to him 24/7 from this jail, and you are coming at me relentlessly. You will not give me a moment of peace.
Okay.
And
so is what you're saying to me, you did not have a conversation with Ms. Morgan?
Absolutely not.
Just a second. Where you said to her, can you loan me $1,300?
Never. I would never have done that. First, that's not me.
Just a second. Tell me a little something about you. Who do you live with?
I live with, I have a son who is 27, and it's he and I right now.
Okay. Are you employed?
No, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
I have a relation with a man that is a friend of mine who has helped me, and that's how I got the money. He would send me a check every month.
So someone takes care of?
Yes, ma'am.
And has that been a long-standing thing?
It has, and he's a very dear friend of mine.
Okay. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
In a home.
Own or rent?
Own.
You drive a car?
A car that gentleman gave me, yes.
So you have a car?
Oh, yes.
At your disposal. And when her daughter lived with you, another car was either given to her or she was
I gave
allowed
it to her to use to get a job, to help her and my son to do what was right. I put the insurance on it. I paid the insurance for them. I gave her daughter a cell phone that was in my name to use so she would have communication. I was trying to help her daughter, who I believed wanted to help herself, which I later found out that neither her or my son had any intention of this, that they need help. They both do.
Okay. So, Ms. Morgan, now I'm going to come back to you. I would like to see what other proof that you have that you created a loan situation with the defendant for the $1,300.
She paid me $300 of it back, Your Honor.
When?
It was a couple weeks after the 4th of July weekend.
Of 2014?
Yes.
Tell me about the repayment of the $300.
Well, she gave Kara the $300 to give to me for the $1,300 loan for the lawyer.
Just a second. Did you have a conversation with her about it?
Yes, I have been contacting Rebecca on and off for almost a year now.
No.
For the $300?
Yes, for the
Yes, we also text about that, and I don't have that text either, Your Honor, because my phone broke, and I had to send it in, and then I lost all the texts.
5'8", runway.
But, yes.
Did you give her daughter $300 to give to her in July of 2014?
I gave her daughter a total of $400. It was not for repayment of a loan.
What was it?
Kara kept coming to me. Her mother takes care of her son, Kara's son, full-time.
Kara has a child.
Kara has a child, but Kara's mother takes care of the child.
How old is that child?
He's 6. He just turned 6.
Okay.
Kara asked me, because I found out about her telling her mother I was going to pay this back at the jail. I walked out of that jail when my son got bailed out. I was so appalled I couldn't even speak when she looked at me and said, you will have my money tomorrow. And I looked at her and I looked at Kara and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was so...
No drama. I'm the only
No,
drama.
I'm sorry. I'm a drama girl. You know, I'm sorry.
I know.
But I walked out. But because I'm getting messages from this woman that I'm not responding to. I am
Would
not
you just tell me what the $300 was for?
For this child to eat. I'm getting messages this child has no food. It has no clothes. And I said, Kara, give this money to your mother. There was nothing about this. I don't owe this woman this money. I didn't take a loan from this woman.
Just a second.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Just a second. You gave Kara $400.
I gave her $400.
Okay. How come you remember the $400 that you gave to Kara on July 4th?
Because...
But you don't remember how much money you brought to the jail 3 days before.
Okay, well, I remember because Bruce had just sent me a $5,000 check. And I have bills that I have to take care of. And I do those when I get his check. And I said, I will give you, and I know I cannot tell you the dollar amount. I wish I could. And I probably should be able to, but I couldn't prepare very well for this.
Just a second. I'm just asking you because you
no,
were
honestly, the truth is,
hey,
I just don't know.
Drama.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today, Morgan says the mother of her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Rebecca Wojak, owes for a loan to pay her son's attorney fees. Rebecca claims Sandra is making up a story.
I'm just curious that you remember it wasn't $300. I gave her daughter, it was $400 when you couldn't remember in the same month how many thousands of dollars you brought to the jail to bail out your son. One would be something that I would remember, and one maybe would say, I don't know if I gave her $300 or $400, but you knew that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but this woman has relentlessly called my phone, texted me, sat in my driveway for almost 5 hours and would not leave. My daughter, I don't bring police to my home. I don't live this way. This is not how I live. My daughter's threatening to call the police. I'm like texting her, would you please just leave my driveway? I don't want police at my house. I don't want these issues.
Before I ask you anything else, do you have any other proof of a loan.
Yeah, she paid me back $300. She also texted me that she would pay me back my
You don't
money.
have the text.
She does.
How do you know what I...
Because you told me, Rebecca, that you had everything and you had everything recorded and that you were...
Just a second. I asked you if you had any other proof.
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Where's your daughter?
My daughter is in a facility waiting for a rehab bed.
And yours?
Oh, my son's in prison.
For
And how
40
long
years,
is this?
Your Honor.
I didn't ask you a question. For how long?
I would not allow him to tell me. I had been this red before.
Okay. For a period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Anything else you have to tell me, Miss Morgan?
Yes, I do.
I just want any other proof that you have that you made a loan to the defendant.
No, other than her calling and asking me for that loan, I do not.
And that's something that I have to believe,
Okay.
which I don't. Your case is dismissed. I don't believe that there was a loan. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm pretty upset about it. I'm pretty upset that I didn't get the money.
This woman has serious issues, and I wouldn't speak with her or answer her text messages
That I really felt that Rebecca knows it.
because it was on borderline harassment of just, I didn't even understand it.
She told me time and time again how she was going to pay me the money.
I mean, what she does or doesn't do is irrelevant to me.
And she just never came up with the money.
I just hope these kids...
Your neighbor asked you to move the camera. Why didn't you move it?
A matter of privacy over security.
She never asked me to take the cameras down. She called the police on me first.
She has a right to be annoyed with you, sir.
Then a bright idea came into focus.
What she did was she put in a light.
Many.
The light interferes with his camera taking pictures.
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I was trying. I wasn't sure.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Terry Tadia is suing her neighbor, Mark Patus, for trespassing and for invasion of privacy as a result of pointing surveillance cameras into her backyard.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 367 on the count in the matter of Tadia versus Patus.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Patus, you and the plaintiff are neighbors.
Yes.
How long have you been neighbors?
26 years, a little over, I believe.
Who do you live with?
My wife and my daughter on occasion.
Now, in what year did you install spotlights around your house?
I did not install spotlights. I installed cameras, video cameras, surveillance cameras.
Okay.
In 2017.
So you installed cameras,
Yes.
not lights.
Not lights, no.
And where did you position them?
I have a picture I'd like to show you.
I'd
if
like
I
to
could.
see it.
They're on the front corners of my home. There's quite a few pictures here that the Roseville police took.
No, I asked you a simple question.
I'm trying to get the
expect a
right ones
simple
for you, Your
answer.
Honor.
Good. Thank you.
This one.
I presented that to him.
Yes.
To the court.
Okay. And would you tell me what prompted you in 2017 to install the cameras? Just
Well,
for
my
your
wife
own
and I...
for your own security. Don't tell me about your wife.
It wasn't for our own security. My wife and I kept finding used condoms.
Don't tell me what your wife kept finding.
Okay, well, I kept finding used condoms in my backyard right over her fence. That and it was coming from her youngest daughter, Tara, and her boyfriend. And along with that, he was selling drugs out in front of the house, and that was getting way out of hand.
Did you have a discussion with the plaintiff about that?
I haven't spoke with the plaintiff in years. No, ma'am, I have not.
Did you make a police report about the drug activity in front of the house? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
So you have no police report that you filed, nor do you have any video, I assume, to show me, or any photograph to show me prior to the installation of the cameras as to why you installed them.
Correct, I do not.
But it's within your right to install cameras in your property as long as they do not invade anyone else's property and privacy. Ergo, this case. Because the plaintiff says that one of the cameras is not directed on your property, but includes her property. And she wants it down or restructured to merely show what is on your property.
I have a couple more pictures I'd like to share with you.
Sure.
This is what my camera shows in my home, all four of the pictures, so you can see what it does, specifically hers and what she doesn't like. And then what I think is most...
What I want you to show me, Mr. Patus,
yes,
is with a pen that Officer Byrd will provide you if you don't have one of your own. I want you to make a circle around the photographs of her property that your camera can see.
It's in just one... Oh,
I'd like to see it.
Actually, there's two of them. I don't have a pen.
2. Okay.
One of them is enlarged, so you get a real good look.
Just make a circle.
But this is the enlarged one. There you go. Your pen didn't work very well. Thank you. I have one more photo that I'd like you to see, Your Honor.
No, just 1 second.
That's all 4 of them.
This
Yeah,
is her property.
correct.
This is where one of your other cameras.
Correct.
Okay, but that's also the public street.
Right.
And that's in front of, this would be your house, this would be her house?
Correct.
Okay, I don't find that objectionable at all, actually. This.
Not out
I don't
front
find,
at all.
I don't find that objectionable at all. What?
When I was speaking with his wife, they admitted
Don't tell me what they admitted. Just be
Okay,
quiet. Just be quiet.
Can I see that to make sure I do agree? It's in the front of his house.
I do not have any problem with this as invading your privacy. This is
I'm not sure what I
potentially,
can see on it.
it shows the street, it shows where the cars are, and it shows a piece of your front lawn. Do you want to look at it closer?
Yes. Please. I don't have a problem with this picture. I don't have a problem with this picture.
Right. Those are pictures of the front of the house.
Right.
Somebody was doing something
I don't have a
wrong.
problem
If there was an accident in the street, that's a good surveillance camera, and it's not necessarily interfering with your property. It's right in the front.
Correct.
Your problem is with the picture of your backyard.
Yes.
Okay? And now your camera, sir,
Yes.
can be positioned in such a way, because this is your house in here, I assume.
To the left.
This is your
No,
house.
no, that's her house.
This is her house.
That's her house.
Oh, this is her house.
Yeah. That's
and this
my house.
is your house?
That's my house to the left.
This is your house?
Yes. And if you notice, Your Honor, how you can see the left side of my house on the left? Well, if I
Yes.
push the camera all the way towards the house, which she would like, I get an awful glare and you can't see anything on the
That's
cameras.
too bad. That would count under the category of too bad.
I would like to share one more photo with you, please.
Sure,
This is outside of my kitchen window.
sure.
That's the view I get outside of my kitchen window.
That's what you get out of your kitchen window.
Well, I'm not sure how she could claim that her backyard is private and when I can see that out of my kitchen window. I'm simply just trying to...
Your house has been there. You've been neighbors for 26 years. She doesn't want her backyard or her children when they're in the pool or her family and friends. She doesn't want their photographs within your control. And it's a perfectly reasonable request for you to adjust the camera or move the camera so it just takes in your yard. So you can see if somebody's coming into your house, if somebody's skulking up your driveway. It's not an unreasonable request. We're perfectly reasonable people, sir. Even though this takes into consideration part of her front lawn, there's a legitimate purpose in finding out if somebody is being mugged, if somebody is in an automobile accident. It's a surveillance. But you can't surveil someone's backyard. There is a big difference.
Your Honor, I checked with my...
I don't care what you checked with. I don't care who you checked with. I'm telling you, if one of my neighbors had a camera positioned so that it had the view of my pool, and it's true that they could sit in their kitchen window or their bedroom window with glasses and look to see who was in the pool, how I looked in my bathing suit, whether I had cellulite, who I was with. It's true that they could do that. There is a difference, however, of them having a camera and photographing that. It's the same way that you feel invaded when somebody takes a drone picture of your house, hovers around your house with a drone. Now, sometimes if you're a celebrity, you have to get used to things like that because you've made your life an open book. Last time I looked, she wasn't a celebrity. So she has a right to be annoyed with you, sir, for positioning your camera so that you can take pictures of her backyard and her pool. And if you were any sort of reasonable person, if she made that known, you would move it. So you didn't move it. And what she did was she put in a light.
Manny.
Is that what you put in?
Yes, I did put it in.
And the light interferes with his... The light interferes with his camera taking pictures.
No.
Doesn't?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
I was trying. I
Just a
wasn't
second.
sure.
That's too bad. I mean, you have that as part of a counterclaim, that the light shines into your window and it irritates your wife.
It's into, the yard. I also have another picture, Your Honor. I have a lot of them. Your Honor, she's been harassing me for like 2 years, and I have evidence, and I'd like to share it with you.
I don't care. change the camera? Was she harassing you prior to 2017 when you put in the... Pay attention to what I said. Was she doing anything to annoy you that I would be interested in prior to you putting in the cameras?
Yes, this has been going...
Just a second. Tell me, prior to putting in the cameras, what she was doing to harass you.
She swears drunk back and forth on her other side of the yard when we're having parties and kids.
She what?
She gets drunk and muddles behind under her breath loud enough for all of us to hear it and cranks the music. When we're having kids' parties in our backyard, my witness can...
Yes.
So stuff like that, and it's just constant, Your Honor. She put up a rubber glove holding the finger. This was up all summer long on a broomstick.
Which summer? After?
Last summer, just last summer.
You mean after she asked you to take down the camera?
She never asked me to take the cameras down. She called the police on me first. And there are...
So that you knew...
I have a couple of police reports I'd also like to share with you.
So that you knew she wanted the camera down?
Yes, I did.
So in order to negate the hostility, why didn't you reposition the camera so that it wouldn't be taking photographs of her backyard and her pool area?
And I checked with the city manager, and he told me that...
Don't tell me what the city manager told you. Your neighbor asked you to move the camera. Why didn't you move it? Your neighbor asked you to move it.
The police told me I didn't have to, and I was not ticketed. I checked with my attorney, and he also said that I did not have to.
You're not following my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You should move the camera. That's what I think. I think that you're being obstinate. Check with your attorney, check with the city. I don't have to move it, and I don't care what you want. If it makes you uncomfortable, who cares?
And later today...
You were using it as a wedding venue. You took their money.
No.
You took their money.
They asked to have the reception there.
Are you out of your mind? Don't you understand? You have to think before you speak.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Terry Tadia says neighbor Mark Patus is invading her family's privacy by pointing surveillance cameras into her backyard. Mark is countersuing for attorney fees and harassment.
Now, your neighbor asked you to reposition the camera so it was not photographing her backyard and her pool, and you didn't do it. I have neighbors all over the country. If I were doing something that irritated my neighbor, or if one of my kids was doing something that irritated my neighbor, I would try to do my best to deflect that, because everybody is entitled to peacefully enjoy their property, right?
Agreed.
And if she was not permitting you to peacefully enjoy your property because she was creating a disturbance, then once discussed with her, say, listen, I'm having a party here, it's getting too loud over there, could you put it down? Then you file a noise complaint, right?
Yes.
Because then she wasn't doing the right thing. Did you ever do that?
No, Your Honor.
No. So what I'm telling you is, she's right. You should move the camera that's recording what's going on in her backyard. That's what I think. And I don't care about the harassment. I think that you're being obstinate. Check with your attorney, check with the city. I don't have to move it, and I don't care what you want. If it makes you uncomfortable, who cares? I'm telling you, it's not the right thing to do. Front camera, fine. I don't find any objection to that. It encompasses a small piece of her property, but not where she has an expectation of privacy, because it also abuts a public street and a public walkway. So she has no expectation of privacy